Right, good morning, happy May the 4th to everybody. We're here at Echo Base Live in the Kingfisher Centre in Redditch, and we're going to take a look, see what it's about. This is my son Harry, he's going to be joining me, helping me out today. Anything you're looking for in particular?
I want to have a look at the 6-inch black series, but nothing much really.
So yeah, you're going to see what you can find with that, and
Yeah.
we'll take it from there. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you in a bit.
See you inside.
Now normally at the Echo Live events John would be joining me, who you've seen in previous videos, but this weekend he had a gig in Brighton, obviously being funny and doing his stand-up thing. He's got some gigs coming up at the Edinburgh Fringe, and this is his practice run, so he's away, couldn't make it for this one. But as you can see, plenty of signage there for the Echo Live event at the centre. It's good photo opportunities, and then once you move upstairs, this is where the main event was, all up here. Now on your right you could see the prize booth, and this was for the raffle that they would run at the end of the day. Some lovely bits and pieces in here, really nice artwork, a couple of the Darth Vader 12-inch figures there. There's a nice jigsaw puzzle which I believe in the end Dan, who was one of my friends from Twitter, did win. Nice carded low grade, this is some of the vintage stuff as well. And as you can see there, a Star Wars Han Solo carded Attack Commander as well, B-Wing pilot there, one for Stephen B. Danley. And yeah, just take a closer look at the Star Wars card there. A little bit of a dent to the bubble, but still an incredibly nice card. I think that was the first prize to get selected from the pickup there. There were also some other nice bits and pieces. A Luke Skywalker there, Biggs Darklighter, which was signed by Garrick Hagan. Some of the other bits included a L3 photo that was signed by one of the droid builders. And just having a look across the table here, you could see the wide variety of bits and pieces. A lot of this was very generously donated by people attending the event for the Echo team to give away as part of the raffle. Some, like I say, absolutely fantastic items in there, well worth the price of admission for entering the raffle. Now the main corridor didn't open up to the general public until 10 o'clock, so I had a look around some of the other smaller stands that were available just on the mezzanine floor. Now there were some Sigma items there, including the rather rare Luke on Tauntaun, C-3PO in his turret, and some of the individual figurines. They also had an Ewoks set at the end there, and both the Ewoks and the 3PO apparently are musical boxes. So it was good to see some of those over there. These were apparently direct from America. The chap had brought them over and was looking to sell them on. Also at the top were ID Toys, and again they've been a bit of a mainstay, along with DarkSide Toys, at the Echo Live events for the last couple of them at least. You could see there obviously a nice selection of the vintage collection figures, most of the modern ones. These were all priced around about £15, £14-15 on those across the two stalls. So yeah, definitely worth hunting down some of the ones that I was missing there. Plenty of Black Series figures, including the General Grievous there, which we haven't seen too many of over here in the UK, and a couple of the Bandai figures, again fairly reasonably priced, out on display. I know one of the popular ones was indeed the Han Solo Mimban Trooper. He did seem to be selling very well. But the big surprise was, of course, the retro collection from Hasbro. These are the brand new figures that are done in the style of the 1977-78 Kenner originals. They are very subtly different to the originals, so you can definitely tell them apart. To me, they look slightly shorter than the original versions, and I've got to say, the paint applications actually look slightly sloppier on these newer figures. Now, toy related still, but with a bit of a twist, was Chris Rose's photography. He takes images of vintage figures, modern figures, bit of all sorts there, right the way through to the Black Series, as you can see, and he poses them, prints them, and frames them. These were absolutely fantastic stuff. My son picked up a print from him, and he can't wait to get it up on his wall. Now, if you're interested to see in what else he has available, do head on over to chrisrosephotography.co.uk to have a look and see what he's got to offer. So the Echo Live events have actually started to host some stars from the films that you can get an autograph from and have a quick chat to. Now this year they had John Mogridge, who played an Imperial gunner, a Rebel pilot, a Stormtrooper and a Snowtrooper, Hugh Spite, who played a Gamorrean guard, and General Nirali, a Dracelian rebel, Trevor Butterfield, who played Rebel Lieutenant Blount, a Mon Calamari officer, an Imperial officer, General Parno, a Stormtrooper, and Bosk. Simon Williamson, who played Jubnock, who was a Gamorrean guard, Max Rebo, a Mon Calamari officer, and Nien Num, and also Gerald Home, who played Tessic, aka Squidhead, and a Mon Calamari officer. Gerald also got up onto the platform while they were doing the raffle to announce that he was going to be auctioning off one of his action figures that he would sign along with Simon Williamson. So very generously donating this into the raffle, and obviously the proceeds from that going to charity. So a very generous offer from Gerald and Simon there. Finally, rounding out the signings at the event was Bob Brechin, who was the chief toy designer for Palitoy from 1967 to 1984. Now, Bob had a hand in things like the Death Star, and he also gave a panel presentation at the end of the show. Tops artist Marsha Parkins also had a table at the show, and as you can see, a bit of a fan of the Sand Trooper. She was there quite happily talking about all of her artwork, and this one in particular was some of the work that she had to send backwards and forwards between herself and Lucasfilm to get this shot approved. Up in the top left hand corner there you can see the Centaur class shuttle. Interestingly enough, she had to actually prove to Lucasfilm that that did belong in a shot from Tatooine. So some lovely stuff there from Marsha. One of the other artists present was Ian MacDougall, and he was showcasing quite a bit of his different work. He's another artist that has worked for Tops and also Upper Deck, and you can see obviously plenty of nice quality stuff there, including some of the blank comic book covers that he'd done the sketches for on top. Again, another artist taking commissions, and you can see his details in the screenshot just here. So Echo Live isn't just about getting that new collectible, it's also about how you can display them. And here we have LA or La Fabrications, and they've got a Facebook page well worth checking out, but as you can see they specialise in laser cut acrylic and various different ways that you can put figures or vehicles into stands and display cases as a slightly different way of focusing some of your collections. They do light up displays, standard displays, and as you can see here they look absolutely fantastic. Well worth checking them out, and there'll be a link in the description down below. So it's not just displaying your collection but also protecting it, and many of you will be familiar with GW Acrylics. They do all sorts of cases to protect all sorts of scales of figures, from the 6-inch Black Series right through to the vintage Kenner figures there, and of course the coins that go with them. They're also showcasing their new cases for the Star Wars Black Series archive line, and these fit beautifully inside there and will keep those in pristine condition. If you've got a bigger item, then they've got boxes big enough for even the Millennium Falcon there, along with some cases that you can slide a card back into to give it that protection, and some that will also stand a figure just in front of it to give the illusion that you've still got a mint on card figure there, and this actually helps really display the figures nicely. For those of you lucky enough to get the Celebration exclusive Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi, you've got cases for them too. Now, for a bit more information and an in-depth interview with Christian Summer from GW Acrylics, please check out our previous episode from Echo Live. There's a link in the icon card above and in the description down below. Right, so to give you a bit more of a flavour of what was actually available on the tables at Echo, here's just some coverage of what was there. So plenty of vintage, as you can see, a couple of the 12-inch items there, some of the micro collection, some Ewoks VHS videos, if you're so inclined for those sort of things. Plenty of loads of loose Kenner items, and of course the Dixie cups at the back there. Now these were some of the oddball items on this table, like things like your soap, your pencil sharpeners, all sorts of bits and pieces there, and plenty of mint on cards available for those who wanted them. All sorts of different characters, lots of different films available, so that's the stuff from like Star Wars, Jedi, Empire, and some of the Power of the Force stuff as well. A couple of tri-logos I did see in the mix as well there, so obviously a nice Obi-Wan Kenobi on a Star Wars card. Again, plenty of loose figures, plenty of the ones that were actually in the acrylic as well, and a beautiful, beautiful shuttle Tidarium, the Imperial shuttle there. This was AFA graded and it was immaculate. It really did look like a lovely piece. Now the collector's cantina were there, and they actually had a boxed Imperial shuttle as well, another AT-AT and a Ewok village. More mint on cards, plenty of box stuff. If this is the sort of thing that you're looking for, great prices to be had, and well worth the visit. So it wasn't just vintage, there was plenty of modern available for the modern collector. Lots of Black Series there, and this chap even had the first 12 on the display stand, all available as a one-shot. And James, again, who you can contact on the Echo base groups, had a lot of his custom work out on display. You saw at the top there a custom A-wing. He's also done some work on the Millennium Falcon, some little dioramas, and at the top there some of the 12-inch Hero Series speeder bikes and what have you. His stuff is absolutely fantastic. I covered it in a bit more detail the last time around. Again, you can have a look back at that video there. Well worth checking it out if you've certainly got a custom project in mind. Here we have some of the 40th anniversary collection Black Series figures. Plenty of those available, and some more dioramas. These were a lot of the Hot Wheels and Micro Machines sort of scale vehicles, and all with their own individual base. They also did some of the 3 3/4 inch scale figures as well. Now again, I think we did cover them briefly in a previous video. Waterstones were also there for the first time, and they mainly had the X-Wing miniatures game at the show. Well worth having a look at that game if you haven't already. Loads and loads of modern Power of the Force stuff out in force, and if you are looking for that one elusive weapon to complete a vintage figure, chances are this chap had it available. A couple of the last 17 figures were there as well, if that's what you were particularly looking for. D'Agostini ships as well, all sorts of pieces available for your collecting needs. So after the raffle, anybody who wanted to attend was able to head upstairs and see the Bob Brechin panel. There was a £2 charge which went to Children in Need, and Bob went on to talk about his time with the company Palitoy, gave a bit of history about the company and specifically his involvement with it. Plenty of information on Action Man and of course Star Wars, and Bob was able to share some of his photos that have not actually seen the light of day before, so some fantastic stuff in there. Fantha Tracks have got the entire panel videotapes, and I understand they're going to be putting that up at some point in the future. When it does go live, we will of course let you know, but until then, here's a couple of photos from the event.
Echo Base, this is Rogue 2. I found them. Repeat, I found them.
So back from Echo Live, and this is what we got. Plenty of lovely pickups. I'm going to start with the stuff that I managed to get, and over this side from ID Toys, that's a lovely Jawa there, and from DarkSide Toys, those two from the vintage collection, both very reasonably priced. Some nice little loose bits and pieces and pickups then. In bar section, Dash Fuhr from the Saga line, I think that was. Obi-Wan Kenobi, no, not Obi-Wan, what am I on about? That's Qui-Gon Jinn there. A couple of the Saga Legends coins from the 30th anniversary collection. And I also added a couple of vintage vintage pieces to my collection. A Han Solo and Princess Leia there from the first 12, Gammy Guard with his axe, and a Luke pilot. Need a bit of a clean up, but otherwise they are very nice figures, nice tight joints, which helps. I also wish to collect from a friend of mine, Paul, over at Fantha Tracks. He was at a celebration in Chicago and was ever so kind and brought me back the poster from the Rebels panel, along with some of the exclusive cars that the Fantha Tracks guys were giving out on the day, so they'll make for a lovely display piece there. Also kind enough to bring me back the celebration bag and a couple of the Fantha Tracks items and the celebration lanyard there. Now, while I was at Echo, I did pick up some bits and pieces for my mate John, who was unable to attend, busy being funny in Brighton. So the L3 there, the Podroid, Emperor's Royal Guard, and a nice Bespin blaster to go with his Han Solo. So a couple of nice pickups there for John. And my son, as you will see in an upcoming video, actually picked up the Jump Trooper from the Black series. Very excited about that one, so he's going to do a quick unboxing for you. He also picked up a picture by Chris Rose. Now this is some action figure photography. He was very pleased with that. He's going to make sure that that one gets framed and goes up on his wall. A couple of nice little loose figures, the Scorch from the Saga collection, Anakin from the Clone Wars line, and another Anakin from the 30th anniversary collection. All loose, but he's very happy with those. And then we get on to some of the freebie bits and pieces. Basically, just because Harry's a kid, a couple of people handed him some stuff. So he got some lovely stickers from one chap. A couple of cards there from Marsha Parkins, who you saw earlier in the video. The Jedi telescope was just given to him. We were about to go into the Bob Brechin panel, and a chap just wandered over and said, "Does your lad want this?" So yeah, absolutely fantastic. And then finally, right at the back there, the Hot Wheels Star Destroyer and Home 1 set. This was basically one of the prizes for the raffle. They had far too many to give away, so they were very generous and gave some to any of the kids that were standing fairly close to the table. So yeah, fantastic haul from Echo Live. And that's our show for this week. Just before I go, I did want to say a big hello to Tim from Boss Bounty and also Nick from Only One Kenobi. It was great catching up with you guys at the event, and hopefully we'll see you back down there in October for the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you do click that notification bell so you get a heads up anytime we drop a new video. We are on Instagram and Twitter, both at Toys of the Jedi, so do give us a follow over there and make sure you share this video wherever you do your sharing. And as I mentioned earlier, there will be a unboxing video from Harry. He's quite excited to get that up there, so do look forward to that one. Until next time.